Hi everyone, welcome back to DGMC, Diwan-e-Ghalib Meri Zubani. To all our returning viewers, we are glad that you could join us again. And for the new viewers, we are happy you discovered the podcast and decided to tune in for the first time. Now, if you were with me in the previous episode, you know that currently we are going through Ghazal 22 from Diwan-e-Ghalib, Hawas ko hai, Nashat-e-kar kya kya. Today we are going to cover the third and fourth couplet from this ghazal. So let's dive into it. The third couplet. nawaazish-ha-e-beja dekhta hun. nawaazish-ha-e-beja dekhta hun. shikaayat-ha-e-rangin ka gila kya. So let's do an approximate translation of this. First line. nawaazish-ha-e-beja dekhta hun. I observe, I see, misplaced, improper favors and courtesies done. Second line, shikaayat-ha-e-rangin ka gila kya? What objection can I do to colorful complaints? So that is the approximate translation. Of course, we will get into the impressions in detail. But let's cover the keywords first. Nawazish. Now, nawazish translates to kindness, politeness, courtesy, some kind of favor, patronage. And nawazish पे आप ये एक दो शेर we will cover just to capture the essence of the word. ये उबैदुर रहमान का शेर है. पहले कुछ दिन मेरे जख्मों की नुमाइश होगी. पहले कुछ दिन मेरे जख्मों की नुमाइश होगी, फिर मेरे हाल पे उस बुत की नवाजिश होगी. The approximate translation is, initially, for a few days, my wounds will be put on display. And only then will that idol, and here by idol they mean the beloved, will show me any kind of kindness, any kind of favor. महरूल कादरी का ये शेर. साकी की नवाजिश ने तो और आग लगा दी. साकी की नवाजिश ने तो और आग लगा दी. दुनिया ये समझती है मेरी प्यास बुझा दी. Lovely couplet. The approximate translation is that the cupbearer has actually increased the fire and heat of my thirst. And the world thinks that the cupbearer is quenching my thirst. And this last one, एजाज रहमानी का शेर. खिल रहे हैं गुलाब जख्मों के. खिल रहे हैं गुलाब जख्मों के, शुक्रिया आपकी नवाजिश का. Approximate translation is, the roses of my wounds are in full bloom. The roses of my wounds are in full bloom, and for this you are the one I have to thank. So in these couplets you would have noticed there is this very strong tendency in Urdu poetry to use nawazish in a way which is contrary to its meaning. So the word translates to kindness, politeness, courtesy, favor, but आप इन शेरों से अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं कि उर्दू पोइट्री में नवाजिश को यूजुअली एक ट्विस्ट के साथ यूज़ किया जाता है, many a times to detail and describe unkindness, pain, wounding, with a little sarcasm, right? एक twist and sarcasm के साथ usually नवाजिश को उर्दू पोइट्री में यूज किया जाता है. And then हमारे शेर में nawaazish-ha-e-beja. So what is beja? Be is anything without, right? And ja is place. So beja is something which is out of place, something which is misplaced, unreasonable, unjustifiable, inaccurate, something which is done contrary to the actual purpose, something which is irrelevant. So nawazish-ha-e-beja, any kind of kindness, politeness, courtesy, favor which is misplaced, which is unjustifiable, undeserving. Moving on to the next word, rangi. So rangi is of various colors, showy, ornamented, flowery, and इस पे हम लोग फैज़ अहमद फैज़ का ये शेर देखते हैं. दोस्तों उस चश्मो लब की कुछ कहो, दोस्तों उस चश्मो लब की कुछ कहो, जिसके बगैर गुलिस्तां की बात रंगी है, ना मैं खाने का नाम. So the approximate translation is, friends, say something elaborate on those lips and eyes, without which the gardens are devoid of their colors and the taverns are devoid of their intoxication. And सागर खयामी का ये शेर, जान जाने को है, प्यारा शेर है, जान जाने को है और रक्स में परवाना है, जान जाने को है और रक्स में परवाना है, कितना रंगीन मोहब्बत तेरा अफसाना है. The approximate translation is, he is going to lose his life. He is on the verge of losing his life, and still this moth is dancing around the candle. Love, what a colorful story you have, right? That the parwana so close to death is still in the intoxication of the feeling of love with the candle or the flame and is dancing in that euphoria. Moving on to the next word, gila. So gila translates to complaint, some kind of blame, some kind of accusation, and word बहुत यूज होता है कॉमन वर्नाक्यूलर में, उर्दू पोइट्री में 72 शेर हैं इसके लिए, बट आज के एपिसोड के लिए हमने सिर्फ 2 चुने हैं एंड बोथ ऑफ देम आर रियली गुड. पहला शेर अहमद फराज का, जिंदगी से यही गिला है मुझे, जिंदगी से यही गिला है मुझे, तू बहुत देर से मिला है मुझे. Approximate translation is, I only have one complaint with life, and that is that life sent you my way very late. And then बसीर सुल्तान काज़मी का ये शेर, खूबसूरत शेर, गिला भी तुझसे बहुत है मगर मोहब्बत भी, गिला भी तुझसे बहुत है मगर मोहब्बत भी, वो बात अपनी जगह है, ये बात अपनी जगह. Beautiful couplet, just love the style in which it's written. Approximate translation is, I have many complaints against you. I have many things I hold against you. But then, you are the one I love too. You are the one I love too. That thing has its own importance, and this thing has its own importance and relevance. Both coexist. Me having complaints against you and me loving you. So that takes care of the key words in the first couplet. Let's move on to our impression. So the first line, nawaazish-ha-e-beja dekhta hu. Now यहाँ पर जब देखता हूँ गालिब ने कहा है, तो we get a clue that this first line is directed towards minimum two people, and Ghalib is present in third person, who is not participating and only observing from a distance what is happening between these two people. Because he is the one who जो देख रहे हैं, right? देखता हूँ. Now coming to what's happening between these two people. So one of them is bestowing or showering misplaced, undeserved beja, right? Attention, kindness and warmth, nawazish, on the other person. Now we can always speculate कि ये दो लोग कौन हैं, but here at DGMZ we will go with the most possible plausible guess. The first person is the beloved, because no one else's nawazish matters more to Ghalib than beloved. Ghalib को और किसी की warmth attention को track करने की कोई ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. एक ही person की warmth attention कि वो कायल हैं and उसी पे उनका focus है. So जो नवाजिश bestow कर रही है वो तो beloved है. Now second person is the rival lover. And why do we say that? Because this nawazish is beja, basically undeserving. So deserving nawazish to sirf Ghalib ki hai, because Ghalib believes that I am the one who loves you the most. Hence I am the one who is the most deserving of your attention and warmth. अब यहाँ पर क्योंकि बेजा है ये नवाजिश, it is misplaced, it's undeserving. So by extension, it is being bestowed on a rival. To Ghalib, probably it doesn't matter who the rival is. The fact that matters to Ghalib is that it is someone else and not him. Anybody other than Ghalib himself is automatically a rival. And नवाजिश बेजा मतलब ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट है काफ़ी यूज़ किया जाता है शायरी में. आप ये देखिए अर्शी भोपाली का शेर, हमें तो अपनी तबाही की दाद भी ना मिली, हमें तो अपनी तबाही की दाद भी ना मिली, तेरी नवाजिश ए बेजा का क्या गिला करते. So the approximate translation is, I never even got credit for self-destroying myself in your love. What complaint could I make of you showering undeserved attention on someone else, when my self-destruction was not worthy of any attention from you? It almost didn't make any sense to complain about you showering attention on someone else. So that takes care of nawaazish-ha-e-beja dekhta hu. I, Ghalib, as your lover, stand afar and observe and watch silently. You, beloved, showering this rival lover with your attention, your warmth, your kindness, your friendship, which is undeserving. It is misplaced. Beloved, you are directing all this towards the wrong person. You are directing all this towards an undeserving candidate. And I am observing you do that. Let's move on to the next line. Shikaayat-ha-e-rangin ka gila kya? So here in the second line, from the word gila kya, right, we take a clue that this time Ghalib is in first person. अब ये जो गिला है ये गालिब करेंगे नहीं करेंगे वो हम लोग शेर में देखेंगे, बट ये जो गिला की एक्टिविटी है ये गालिब की तरफ से हो रही है. Now since गालिब से शिकायत रंगीन और अदरवाइज तो सिर्फ बिलवेड ही कर सकती हैं, ये हक गालिब ने उन्हीं को दिया है. So it becomes pretty clear that second line में गालिब गिला कर रहे हैं and second line में गालिब beloved से मुखातिब हैं. Coming to what's happening in the second line, right? So Ghalib believes that the nawazish and the attention in the first line was rightfully Ghalib's, because no one can love the beloved like Ghalib, hence no one deserves the beloved's attention, warmth and friendship other than Ghalib. To see beloved give away, waste, splurge this warmth, this attention, this nawazish on a rival is very painful for Ghalib, right? And first line में हमने देखा कि he is just observing. So by extension, he is not stopping the beloved, he is not saying anything, he is not interjecting at all. Just observing from afar, beloved wasting her nawazish on the rival lover. एंड कोई कंप्लेन नहीं करी गालिब ने, सिर्फ ऑब्जर्व किया है. एंड इस शेर में तो फिर भी गालिब ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हैं कि बिलवड नवाजिश कर रही हैं राइवल पे. गालिब के तो गालिब का तो क्राइटेरिया ऐसा है कि अगर बिलवड राइवल के साथ कुछ नेगेटिव भी कर रही हैं तो भी गालिब को पेनफुल है, गालिब को मंजूर नहीं है. Because Ghalib, anything and everything from the beloved wants it to come towards him. And if it goes towards anybody else, he feels the pinch. It hurts him. आपको याद होगा हम लोगों ने गजल 13 में ये शेर कवर किया था. तू और सुए गैर नजर हाय तेज तेज, मैं और दुख तेरी mazaa-ha-e-daraaz ka. So basically the approximate translation was that you and those sharp looks in the direction of the rival, right? And me here harboring the sorrow and pain of those long eyelashes of yours. So basically even those angry glances that the beloved is sending the rival's way hurts and pains Ghalib, right? Because Ghalib thinks अगर इतना गुस्सा कर रही है उससे तो फिर intensity of emotion है ना rival की तरफ, और एक हम हैं दूर से खड़े ये सब देख रहे हैं, हमारी तरफ तो ना गुस्से की निगाह है ना प्यार की निगाह है, निगाह ही नहीं है हमारी तरफ. राइवल को देखो कितनी निगाहें मिल रही हैं, चाहे गुस्से की ही सही. सो गालिब के लिए तो गालिब के लिए बात बहुत स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड थी. Anything from the beloved directed towards him, right, was good. Anything from the beloved directed towards anybody else was bad. Now second line पढ़ने के बाद we realize that Ghalib is saying that he finds it almost trivial, almost inconsequential to hold against the beloved her colorful, light-hearted complaints. shikaayat-ha-e-rangin. Yes, we can speculate कि maybe कोई और शिकायत कर रहा है, but ये रंगीनी वाली जो शिकायतें हैं, राइट, ये यूजुअली बिलवड से ही आती हैं. ये शोखी वाली रंगीन मिजाजी वाली शिकायतें बिलवड से ही आती हैं, राइट. क्योंकि उनका मिजाज उस टाइप का है ना. लवर इज नेवर रंगीन, राइट, और शोखी से भरा, ये बिलवड की एट्रीब्यूट्स हैं यूजुअली. सो वी विल अज्यूम हियर कि shikaayat-ha-e-rangin are the complaints from the beloved to Ghalib. एंड गालिब इज सेइंग कि ये लाइट हार्टेड कंप्लेंट्स जो बिलवड मुझसे करती रहती है, तुमने ये क्यों किया, ये क्यों कहा, ये इनका मैं क्या गिला करूं. मैंने तो फर्स्ट लाइन में इससे भी ज्यादा बहुत बड़ी बात चुपचाप सह ली है, राइट. सो बेसिकली नंबर वन, गालिब, if he really has to hold a gila against the beloved, he would rather do it for the thing or the behavior in the first line, where she's showering the rival lover with all her love and attention. Number 2, if he could bear watching silently without complaining the beloved's nawaazish-ha-e-beja, right? It would almost seem silly or, like I said, trivial, inconsequential to start complaining of her shikaayat-e-rangin in the second line. अगर कंप्लेन करना है तो उस बड़ी बात के लिए करो ना जो फर्स्ट लाइन में हुई है. एंड गालिब कहते हैं जब उसको दूर से देख लिया खड़े खड़े तो फिर अब इस बात के लिए तो क्या गिला करें इस बात का, ये तो बहुत ही छोटी बात है. करो तुम्हें मुझसे जितनी भी शिकायतें करनी है, हम तो वो खून का घूंट पी के बैठे हैं. सो हमारी जो हमने जो इम्प्रेशन अभी कवर किया उसमें गालिब चुप रहे. एक सिनारियो हो सकता है कि गालिब चुप नहीं रहे. उन्होंने पहली लाइन में देखा बिलवड को राइवल लवर पे नवाजिश करते हुए एंड उन्होंने शिकायत की, बट एक रंगीन स्टाइल में की, मजाक में की, एक लाइट हार्टेड तरीके से की. तो वो बिलवड से कहते हैं कि मेरी इस शिकायत से तुम्हें प्रॉब्लम क्यों है? मेरी तो जस्टिफाइड शिकायत है ना कि तुम एक राइवल लवर पे अपनी नवाजिश क्यों बरसा रही हो, जो कि बेजा है. इट इज मिसप्लेस्ड, राइट? सो मेरी और इतनी बड़ी बात के लिए मैंने एक लाइट हार्टेड कंप्लेंट की, मजाक में एक कंप्लेंट कर दी कि भाई ये क्यों किया, तो तुम उसका गिला रख रही हो. क्यों गिला रख रही हो? गिला क्या है तुम्हें इस बात का? यू शुड, दिस इज अ फेयर शिकायत फ्रॉम माई एंड. सो ये भी एक दूसरा इंप्रेशन हो सकता है, पॉसिबिलिटी है, बट वी विल स्टिक टू द फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन सिंपली बिकॉज ये जो रंगीनी है ये, लाइक आई सेड, बिलवड के मिजाज और एटीट्यूड से ज़्यादा मैच करती है बनिस्बत गालिब के मिजाज और एटीट्यूड से. सो शिकायतें बिलवड की बिलवड की आदत भी है, अदा भी है. सो वो सब बातें मद्देनजर रखते हुए वी विल गो विद द फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन, बट always this is a Ghalib couplet, it can go anywhere. So ultimately if we stick to the first version, इस couplet में we once again see Ghalib emphasize the fact that as long as it is something from the beloved to him, he loves it. No matter whether it is good, bad, ugly, whether it brings joy, pain, it's all good with him. It's all good with him. What actually pains Ghalib, what actually irks Ghalib, what actually hurts Ghalib is anything, good, bad, ugly, joy, pain, from the beloved to the rival lover, to someone else. Someone else is automatically a rival. If it is not Ghalib, it's a rival for Ghalib, right? So anything from the beloved to someone else, by extension to the rival, that is what is unbearable, that is what is painful for Ghalib. So that takes care of nawaazish-ha-e-beja dekhta hoon, shikaayat-ha-e-rangin ka gila kya. Let's move on to the next couplet. nigaah-e-be-mahabaa चाहता हूँ, nigaah-e-be-mahabaa चाहता हूँ, taghaaful-ha-e-tamkin-azmaa क्या. So let's do an approximate translation. So in the first line, Ghalib is expressing what he wants. He wants a glance of fearlessness, bravery, powerful, intense. Second line, taghaaful-ha-e-tamkin-azmaa kya. He does not want beloved's negligence to test his patience. So that is the approximate translation. Let's get into the few keywords we have here. Mahabaa. Mahabaa is kindness, respect, regard, affection, friendship, gentleness and care. All good things. And आपने उसके आगे बे लगा दिया, so everything opposite, right? So be-mahabaa will be unkind, disrespectful, disregarding, lacking affection. uh, lacking friendship, by extension animosity, and lacking gentleness, lacking care, right? So हमारे शेर में बेमहाबा use किया गया, निगाह-ए-बे-mahabaa. So a glance which is devoid of all these qualities: kindness, respect, regard, affection, friendship, etc. Moving on to the next word, taghaaful. So taghaaful is basically neglect, unmindfulness, negligence, inattention, indifference, not caring about something, neglecting something, ignoring something, being indifferent to something, right? And then tamki. Tamki is majesty, dignity, authority, power, by extension, a self-worth. Let's move on to the impression of this couplet. So, निगाह-ए-बे-mahabaa चाहता हूँ, तगहाफुल-हा-e-tamkin-azmaa क्या. This is an interesting couplet where Ghalib is expressing what he wants from the beloved and almost rejecting what beloved is sending his way, which is taghaaful, that is tamkin-azmaa. So पहली line, निगाह-ए-बे-mahabaa चाहता हूँ. Ghalib is expressing what he wants from the beloved. निगाह-ए-बे-mahabaa. Now Ghalib is asking, desiring, or demanding a piercing look directed at him from the beloved. A gaze with no mercy, no kindness, no friendship in it. A gaze with no holds barred. Right? Ghalib talks about this nigaah-e-be-mahabaa in another couplet also. करने गए थे उससे तगाफुल का हम गिला कि एक ही निगाह कि बस खाक हो गए. सो इस शेर में वो निगाह-ए-बे-mahabaa मिली उनको, राइट, कि एक ही निगाह और बस खाक हो गए. सो दिस इज दैट किलर ग्लैंस, इफ यू मे, राइट. Ghalib is saying, beloved, this is what I want. चाहता हूँ, निगाह-ए-बे-mahabaa, तुमसे एक ग्लांस चाहता हूँ, इंटेंस, पियर्सिंग, directed towards me, focused towards me, बेमहाबा. बेमहाबा मतलब डिवॉइड ऑफ एनी फ्रेंडशिप, एनी मर्सी, एनी काइंडनेस. वो तो गालिब को पता ही है कि बिलवेड ये सब फील नहीं करती उनके लिए, राइट. बट वो कहते हैं कि थोड़ा थोड़ा अपना गुस्सा, थोड़ा थोड़ा अपनी जो भी है गिले शिकवे मत दिखाओ, एक पूरी तरीके से अपनी एक ग्लांस मेरी तरफ भेजो जिसमें तुम्हारा बेमहाबा मुझको साफ, इंटेंसली और पूरे का पूरा टोटलिटी में दिखे, फील हो. ये मैं चाहता हूँ, राइट. एंड सेकेंड लाइन में वी विल सी दैट गालिब सेज तगहाफुल-हा-e-tamkin-azmaa क्या, कि ये मेरे को भेजो और ये मेरे को मत भेजो. सेकेंड लाइन में ही टेल्स द बिलवेड व्हाट ही डजंट वांट. ये तगाफुल की जो निगाहें तुम मेरी तरफ भेजती हो, तगाफुल, लाइक वी सॉ इन द ट्रांसलेशन, इज निग्लेक्ट, इग्नोरेंस, इनडिफरेंस, राइट. ये मत भेजो मेरी तरफ, बिकॉज these test my power, these test my patience, these test my self-control. They are not worthy of my tamkin. आपको याद होगा tamkin का मतलब है पावर, अथॉरिटी, डिग्निटी, राइट. एक सेल्फ वर्थ इंसान की, जिसमें सेल्फ कंट्रोल भी आएगा, पेशेंस भी आएगी. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू गालिब, ये जो छोटी छोटी छुपी छुपी साइड ग्लांसेस तुम मुझे भेजती हो, ये जो हैं, आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन दीज. दे हर्ट मी बट दे डोंट किल मी, राइट. एंड यहाँ पर इस शेर को अच्छी तरह समझने के लिए we will have to understand a concept or assumption that is very prevalent in Urdu poetry, and that is playing in this couplet in the background. The assumption is that the beloved's glance is deadly, and if she was to turn the full force of that glance towards the lover, it would be fatal for the lover, killing the lover instantly. Also in parallel runs the assumption that the lover loves to die at the hands of this killer gaze from the beloved. शायरों ने बतेरों लिखा है इसके बारे में, शेरों पे शेर हैं. We will cover a few just to grab the essence of this concept. मुबारक अजीम आबादी का ये शेर, जो निगाह नाज का बिस्मिल नहीं, जो निगाह नाज का बिस्मिल नहीं, दिल नहीं, वो दिल नहीं, वो दिल नहीं. So, basic, beautiful couplet, right? The approximate translation is a heart which is not slaughtered, killed, right? Slayed at the hands of those eyes, right? Those beautiful, graceful eyes is not a heart, is not a heart, is not a heart. सकीब लखनवी का ये शेर, तमाम हो गए हम, तमाम हो गए हम एक निगाह कातिल से, तमाम हो गए हम एक निगाह कातिल से, रगें गले की तड़पती रही छुरी के लिए. Approximate translation is, I was slayed and killed by one glance from those killer eyes, and the veins in my neck kept desiring, wanting to feel the knife slice through them. But that never happened because I got killed instantly by one glance from those killer eyes. फानी बदायूं का ये शेर, तेरी तिरछी नजर का तीर है, मुश्किल से निकलेगा, तेरी तिरछी नजर का तीर है, मुश्किल से निकलेगा, दिल उसके साथ निकलेगा, अगर ये दिल से निकलेगा. Approximate translation is, this is an arrow shot by your eyes, by your glances. This arrow is not going to come out easily. If it does come out, it will pull the heart out with it, right? So just re-emphasizing the killer prowess of the glance from the beloved. And last शेर, अजीज-उर-रहमान शहीद फतेहपुरी का, ये बात सच है कि मरना सभी को है, लेकिन ये बात सच है कि मरना सभी को है, लेकिन अलग ही होती है लज्जत निगाहे कातिल की. So the approximate translation is, I agree, everybody has to die. Everybody has to die. But that death has another flavor, another joy to it, which comes from the glances, from the killer glances of the beloved. So all this background to emphasize the fact that ये जो शेर है हमारा आज का, this is taking its background or context from this concept, which is very prevalent in Urdu poetry, that a full force gaze from the beloved has the power to kill the lover instantly, and the lover wants to die that way, loves to die that way. Now, keeping this concept in mind, let's decode Ghalib's demand for nigaah-e-be-mahabaa instead of taghaaful, that is tamkin-azmaa. So, first reason, Ghalib is tired of the small short jabs of taghaaful, which hurt but do not kill, and only test his patience and tease his power and dignity. Tamki, right? Power and dignity. Ghalib wants nigaah-e-be-mahabaa, which will be focused, intense, and unceremonious, enough for a clean kill. Something worthy of Ghalib's tamkin. Ghalib rejects the death by 1,000 cuts. He rejects the death by 1,000 cuts and wishes for one sharp, clean kill. So गालिब को ये छोटे 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 तगाफुल वाली निगाहों में कोई इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है, बिकॉज ये चोट तो पहुंचा रही हैं पर ये जान नहीं निकाल रही हैं, राइट एंड बस उनकी पेशेंस टेस्ट कर रही हैं. एंड तमकी आजमा है उसका एक मतलब ये भी है कि दे आर नॉट वर्दी ऑफ गालिब्स कैलिबर. गालिब कैन बेयर सो मच मोर, बट ये छोटी छोटी निगाहें भेज के ऑलमोस्ट गालिब की तमकी की तौहीन कर रही हैं बिलवड, right? She's belittling Ghalib's dignity and power and ability to bear his self-control, right? She's almost belittling it. Ghalib कहते हैं send me a nigaah-e-be-mahabaa. अब ये देखिए गालिब का ही शेर है. पड़तवे खूर से है शबनम, पड़तवे खूर से है शबनम को फना की तालीम, मैं भी हूँ एक इनायत की नजर होते तक. Approximate translation is, from the ray of the sun, the dewdrop takes its lesson in getting extinct, in getting lost in oblivion. Just like me, who will take his lesson from that one glance. So just like a dewdrop disappears under the ray of the sun, one glance from her, and under that glance I will also, like a dewdrop, cease to exist, disappear into oblivion. So बिल्कुल वही जज्बा इस शेर में भी गालिब ने कवर किया है. अब second reason why Ghalib is wanting nigaah-e-be-mahabaa and not taghaaful, which is tamkin-azmaa, Ghalib is asking the beloved to not hold back or temper down her intensity and honesty of reaction towards him. And Ghalib knows this reaction is negative, but he wants full force of the honest, genuine reaction that the beloved has for him. He's asking the beloved to remove all hesitation, remove all barriers from her gaze, and send towards Ghalib a full, intense gaze worthy of Ghalib's strength and power. Tamki, right? Ghalib, in an unsaid way, is assuring the beloved that he can handle any level of intensity she sends towards him. उनका ये शेर आपको याद होगा, हम लोगों ने कवर किया था. बकद्रे ज़र्फ़-ए-साक़ी खुमार तिश्ना कामी भी, जो तू दरियाए में है तो मैं खमियाजा हूँ साहिल का. So basically the approximate translation is that cupbearer, right? My thirst matches your ability to dispense wine, right? And if you are an ocean of my wine, then I am the banks of that ocean. So I can take whatever you send my way. I can absorb into me whatever you send my way. So in an unsaid way, Ghalib is also telling the beloved that do not temper down the intensity of your killer gaze on my behalf. I can handle it. And if I can't handle it, it will kill me, which I am okay with too. So either way, whether I can handle it and keep standing or whether that gaze kills me, both ways I am absolutely fine with it. But I want a genuine, intense, focused, no holds barred gaze from you. I do not want these sly, short glances of taghaaful that only test my patience and belittle my tamki. So very interesting that Ghalib tells the beloved to stop playing this game of taghaaful with him and for once focus on Ghalib. And if that means she's going to focus with all her hate and lack of friendship and lack of warmth, so be it. But focus on Ghalib and send a 100% intense gaze towards him. which probably will kill Ghalib. Rather than a death from thousand cuts, Ghalib opts for a clean, quick, swift death. So that takes care of nigaah-e-be-mahabaa चाहता हूँ, taghaaful-ha-e-tamkin-azmaa क्या. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed the impressions. If you did, do let us know via comments and feedback. As always, for all the new viewers, strong recommendation to go through the introduction to DGMZ episode. It will give you a good insight into the motivation and inspiration behind this podcast. Now I am going to go ahead and close the recording. I'm sending a lot of love and light to all you dear viewers, and thanks for watching.